Hello everyone and welcome to Frappes in Frequency. This is a space for presence-led somatic reflections, tuning into what is being felt in the moment. So grab your favorite bevvy and let's take a deep breath and tune in. I can feel that the energy is heavy. And not heavy in the way we relate to it, but there's some quite interesting. There's some kind of activation happening within like the area of the solar plexus, but I'm also feeling it. I don't know quite at this stage how to express this energy, so I'm just going to keep going and see what comes out. But there's definitely a need to be here now, to hold space for everything, right? Like at the time of this reading, this is officially the first video being recorded in 2026. And usually these reflections are timeless, but there is a significance about crossing this threshold. It's like this initiation into the new year. There's always that kind of, I'm hearing gray period, which is funny because the clouds are super gray outside. This is like gray period of transition, like you're leaving the old, you're coming into the new. And I just use those phrases lightly. I'm just going to take a moment here to grab some water. So maybe that for yourself is something to reflect on. Are you taking in enough nutrients? Are you taking in enough fluids? And I mean, of course, we've just had Christmas, New Year. So our bodies can also kind of feel energetically, I'm hearing the word dispersed, and physically that is being felt, even though prior to me sitting down here, putting everything on and recording, the energy was fine, right? So this is just an indication of I'm hearing the word hypiness of the energy, like it's being picked up again. So they definitely. It definitely feels like there needs to be grounding in the here and now, if not for anything other than to integrate everything that's been experienced in 2025. There's something about reflections, mirror reflections, or seeing an aspect of yourself that's not been seen before, perhaps. It's really interesting. So yeah, there needs to be a lot of growth. And I know for a fact this is not my own feelings or thoughts or energy, however this presents itself. Because like I said, prior to this, there wasn't any of this kind of activation. So, long story short, I don't usually do I usually do timeless reflections. However, I kind of felt like I was going to go do this. I'm going to reflect on the card pull that was done in the 2026 video, and starting with January, whatever the card was pulled. Okay. I'm pausing because there's a shit ton of activation, specifically from the solar plexus and just below, like in the throat chakra, but just below. So just being mindful of just slowing down and being with those emotions, being with everything, like integrating. I'm hearing the word assimilating, but what I feel that is speaking to is just coming into terms with where you are right now. Yes, we can reflect on the past, and we can, usually this time of year we have this perception, or we start projecting the things that we desire. Yeah, I laugh about that, but anyway, I'm not going to go into that right now. Just speaking to what's coming through now. Anyway, I don't know how this is going to go, so just please bear with me, as this is like real time what is being felt and sensed and experienced. So it feels very confusing. It feels discombobulating. And so, if we're not tuned into the body, or we're not aware of our thoughts, that can feel very confusing and discombobulating, but it can feel like uneasy. It can feel uncomfortable. There can be some dis-ease with that. So anyway, I'm just being pulled to show you the card that was pulled for the month of January. This was done last year, 2025, in December. The card, if you're listening on the podcast, is tree, and below that it says ancestry. On the card is a t-shirt that says family reunion and honoring our roots. So if you are listening to this on the podcast, you should be able to see that on the video, or you can tune into the YouTube reflection. So even just looking at that card, what does that feel like? What does that look like in terms of the feelings in the body, the immediate responses as you're looking at it? Really tuning into what that feels like, because this feels very, like there's an aspect of it that feels heavy. And I feel like if you're not being this tree, if you're not grounding yourself in whatever this exploration is, particularly if this has got to do with your roots, there's a need to really ground in this energy, which is fascinating to me, because the 2026 reflection was, part of the guidance was to ensure that you are being present with everything, that you are grounding your energy, you are reflecting, being in a very reflective, inward, reflective state. So not surprised at all that this card came out for January. So I'm just using it as an overall theme, but it's fascinating. The notes that came through, the songs that came through. So I'm going to speak to that now before I bring the cards out. Again, I'm going to say it because this is what's being felt in the now. This is a bit of a heavy energy, and it might not physically feel like that. Like for me, it's being felt physically. It is a somatic reflection. So, but for some others, it can show up as like mental chatter, mental activity, like overthinking, or there's a difference between reflecting and overanalyzing. Like reflecting is a way for us to go within and just having inward conversations, whereas overanalyzing is attaching to thought. reflecting, you're being in spaciousness, you're holding space for things, or questions or queries, or this feels very uncomfortable. So to this month, just being mindful of how you can sort of gather yourselves and integrate everything you learnt last year, or unlearn even, you know, because on this channel we speak a lot about the unlearning, and all that is just being with yourself. And I'm softly hearing a phrase. I know what it's referring to, so I don't need to hear the phrase, but what it's referring to is oh, it's gone now. Perhaps it'll come back. Whatever this energy is, it can be quite overpowering. I'm also getting the vibe that it may be a distraction, which has been a theme for a little bit. I guess what that speaks to is ensuring that you're not allowing your thoughts or your emotions to, I'm hearing, rule the roost. Like, be the leader, lead your lead behavior. I hope what I'm saying is making sense here. I'm trying to express to you what is being felt somatically, and how this energy is presenting itself. And as I'm saying this, it's starting to rain. So this could be also a very emotional process, whatever's happening in January of 2026. It could be to do with family, it could be to do with friends, it could be to do with roots, ancestry. Big time ancestry, I'm feeling that release now. Like family, or going within, like starting to get into that real reflective process right now already. But this is deep discovery, deep questioning, like at the root level. Maybe even honoring your ancestors in some way. I'm seeing I don't see what it actually says on the label, but there is large or L on it. So maybe this L is specific. Also the numbers 42 or number 6. So in the tarot, the 6, it speaks of harmony and balance. So there is a need to remain balanced, remain grounded, stable. Perhaps this is tapping into or questioning or querying your foundations, whether that be physical foundations, as in where you live, or you know, what your stability looks like. Maybe usually at this time of year we tend to do this process anyway. We go through these reflections about it's a new year, what are our goals, what are our intentions, right? So me reflecting on this is just a way for us to navigate whatever is kind of traversing the energy right now. And now it's starting to bucket down. So do stay grounded. I'm getting the feel to tell whoever's listening that something needs to be brought in. Something needs to be brought inside. As maybe going within. So whatever I hope this is coming across in the way that it is intended, because like whatever's been felt, I'm just speaking to it, right? There's something about gaining a different perspective by going within, by reflecting within, by actually sitting in your shit and being with everything that's being felt right now. I feel like strongly a lot of the collective is actually feeling this intensity physically, because this is here. I'm just want to pull some charms, and I might burn some Palo Santo as well. Something may need to be reignited within you. Maybe let's look at it from the perspective of light. Something needs to be reignited with it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry guys, 1 second. Or at the core, something wants to be lit up, something wants to be reignited, but there's a little bit of a warning with that. Not in the not in a sinister sense, but there needs to be patience with something, or there will be some type of spillover effect. God, I hope this is making sense to you guys. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there may be some type of spillover effect if you're not careful. And when I say careful, I just mean mindful. There's nothing you need to do. It's just being aware. It's just tuning into the self-awareness or the awareness that you already are. Lots of grounding, lots of reflecting, and take your time with this process as well. There's no need to rush it. In fact, you may need to even reevaluate how you proceed with that reignition. Like whether that is by going a bit slower, taking your time, waiting, tackling one thing at a time, like just focusing on that one thing. I've got a dragonfly here. Not sure if that means anything to anyone. Well, even a dragonfly goes through a period of transformation. Metamorphosis. I've got a turtle. Perfect. Because that is speaking to slowness, to being patient. And I'm hearing the words wade in the water, and that's actually a song, but it didn't come through as a song, it just came through as the words wade in the water. I will put that song in the notes, in the comments. Just singing it just to see if there's any lyrics that are important. This could be speaking to patience, waiting it out, but you can reflect on that song on your own. I will put that in the notes. As I said before, sorry, I might have to talk louder now that the rain is bucketing down. The two songs that came out before was On My Own by Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. So this could be about relationships. Maybe there was an end to a relationship or relationships in general, whatever that looks like. And that's what that intensity is. On the other hand, it could be to do with denial and deflection, either yourself or those around you. But I do feel like this is an internal thing, denial, because the song that came out was Rehab by Amy Winehouse. So two completely different genres, right? Excuse me. There is a lot of releasing, as in there may have been literally a lot of letting go, especially with the On My Own song. Endings, conclusions, whatever that looks like. And I'm gonna just put it out there that maybe, perhaps, this might resonate for someone or some people in the collective who are watching this. But there may need to be some type of additional assistance, as it like help, specifically mental assistance, like mental health assistance, and whatever that looks like, counseling, but from a professional perspective, like actually taking the adequate steps to work through whatever this is. So some may need to actually speak to someone, reach out to someone that can help or speak to from a professional capacity, because in the Rehab song she's basically saying, no, I don't need help. So where she, or trying to bypass or dismiss the situation or diminish whatever is going on, to be like, oh no, I'm just depressed, I'm not an alcoholic, or I don't have an addiction, that kind of vibe. I know not everybody would be happy to hear that, but whatever, I'm just presenting what's showing right now. Yeah, because there are things coming out of the woodwork. I'm just seeing that outside physically, but there are things that maybe need to be unearthed, perhaps going into root mental processes, or hearing the word unlocking, but it's not from the perspective of like code or something that you have to figure out. It's something that you have to be with, something that needs to be sat with and reflected and actually worked through, like whether that be through group conversation, or and I mean in a professional capacity, right, to even like talk therapy, or just reaching out to people that can help you process this, whatever is happening here. There is denial, so saying to someone who is in denial, you may need to talk to someone. I highly recommend, always recommend, talking to a professional, an actual professional that can help you process emotions. Yes, there is also discernment that needs to happen with that, but I do feel like getting to the root of the matter may be essential this month, and for the rest of our lives, but specifically this month. I haven't even pulled a single card yet, but there may also be low energy. You may be feeling that. I'm feeling that right now, but it did come through the notes. or, you know, there's a lot of busyness, there's a lot of activation going on. So there may need to be, pardon me, a second or third party that can help you integrate this information, or even prompt you, even asking you the right kind of questions. And I don't know specifically if it's something that you may need to seek, or like do hardcore research on someone to help you with something specifically. It's more about just being open and receptive to help, you know, being like, okay, you know what, I'm ready to address this now. How do I go about that? Should I be journaling? Should I reach out to a counselor? Should I talk to my doctor? Like that kind of thing. What cards? Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's see what comes through the cards about this. But yeah, there will be some deep thinking this month. Some reflection. It may have to do with family, with roots, family. What was that one? I don't know my handwriting. I think this is unlearning. Oh, did I not say root of the problem? I've literally written down here, root of the problem. Like roots is a big, it's come out several times here. Oh, I'm hearing the name Lenora. It's such an interesting, obscure name, Lenora. Maybe it's a place for some. Lenora. Oh, excuse me. Got the card round and round. So this has been ongoing. Got mending. So there's number 25 and number 52. So did I not say mirroring before? Like a mirroring energy, reflective energy. As in being observant of what is being reflected to you in your projection right now, and asking yourself inquiring into what it is that you are perceiving. So for example, if someone's showing up in a certain way and they trigger you, for example, why is it that they're triggering you? So being in a really reflective state, because that is the way we are going to be able to go within. And did that ever make sense? White noise might help. And if you're struggling to meditate, maybe some white noise, or I think this is called brown noise, but I'm hearing specifically like white noise. The third card that came out was Never Ending Story. So that, I feel, is speaking to this round and round energy, just this looping continuously. So a period of time, this is a period of time for you to be reflective and be like, I guess being in a space of being able to pick the patterns, to be able to see the patterns, the things that are looping, whatever it is that's looping, or like situations that continue to come back in different ways. There is a mirror in this card as well. And it's fascinating because this is a fairy being, but instead of being out there and enjoying life, it's like, I'm just going to sit in my own self-pity. I'll show you the mending card. So there's a healing that needs to happen here. Possibly within yourself. I've got come to the edge and milk and honey. So there is something about subsequent numbers, because we've got 36, 37, then 51 and 52. So there is a process that needs to be followed. Yeah, there's a process that needs to be followed to, I'm just going to get one more. Okay, process I said, so there's that, and there's that. Okay. So, let me just go through these cards again. We've got round and round, mending, never-ending story. And this is when this is the process. Come to the edge, milk and honey, and breathe. So what is being represented here is there needs to be a stepping outside of the comfort zone, so to speak. A diving into, some would refer to it as shadow work. Like really starting to work on your own shit. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that they're imperfect, that they're flawed. It's irrelevant. There's no such thing as being flawed. We just are. But many would feel like if someone said to them, you need to see a counselor, I'm just using this as an example, that there's something innately wrong with them. And it's like, no, sometimes we actually need to get an outside perspective. And I don't necessarily mean that in terms of external, like working outside of ourselves, but just getting a different set of eyes or a different set of ears to help us put together pieces that we might not be able to see or even be willing to admit. You know, there's that denial. So maybe there are aspects that we're not wanting to dive into or deal with for us to disconnect from whatever this heavy energy is. And for some of us, we may need to actually just, I said that with the turtle, calming down, slowing down. It doesn't mean to say like actually physically slowing down, but slowing down the mental processes, slowing down enough to tune into what is like happening in real time, as opposed to just dismissing it or labeling it as something else. Maybe retracting from wanting to label things and just be with it, labelless, which is a bizarre kind of exploration. but at the same time quite informative in a way. Informative without the informing. I don't know how to explain that, so I'm just going to leave it there. So we need to slow down. We need to work on ourselves. We need to integrate whatever it is that we've maybe learned about ourselves in 2025, learned about life as it is. Yeah, I might just... And I've just seen the number 3620 something. And again, that card come to the edge. I've got the Holy Spirit, expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Kali Ma, facing fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Almoya, awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So that's the second time that's been mentioned. An awakening presence. So this is not something to fear. Whatever is being felt, the energy is moving around, it is shifting, energy is free-flowing. So even if there is, stagnancy showing up here, there is an opportunity to work with that, as in to shift the energy. If not through breath, possibly movement, prayer, focused intention. Diana here. You're always supported. You're always supported. And I'm just hearing that phrase, God helps those who helps themselves. So if you are going through some kind of, I'm hearing mental breakdown, but I say that very lightly. At one point or another, we all go through that process of just detaching from a lot of things or releasing a lot of things in our life. And then it's like, okay, I've released that, now what? So some may be in that now what space, but it's just about allowing especially if there's confusion about what to do, there's nothing to do. It'll all it'll all unfold. Where was that card? It'll all unfold. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of energy in the solar plexus and the throat chakra. There's also sacral chakra as well. So Sometimes when we go through heaviness in the body, it's okay to just be with those feelings, that heaviness, and not label it. Just sitting with it is a way of acknowledging energies that need to be shifted. So you don't even have to do anything like breath work or moving the body in whichever way. It's just about presencing, acknowledging. And if this is not a physical thing, maybe there are some things that need to be presenced and acknowledged in whatever situation is showing up for you here. Yep, there are patterns that need to be uncovered. There's a lot that needs to be released. A lot. Okay, I'll do the first cards that came out. So there's that process, right? There's that, what's that word? Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And that's what could be felt in the body too. So, as I said before, not necessarily doing anything about it, just bringing awareness to it so it can shift. Interesting. It says, Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? And as I'm reading this card, looking at it, it is coming down even more. So, there may need to be some type of assertion with boundaries, with what you're willing to put up with even just being that example of, this is what it looks like to sit in your shit. This is what it looks like to process deep emotions. This is what it looks like to go within, to do the shadow work. And not in a showy, show pony, performance type of way, but just by being yourself, by going through this vulnerable period of time of acknowledging your own thoughts and projections and just acknowledgement, taking responsibility. Perhaps that is something there for someone. How are you being called to step up and lead? It doesn't mean to say that you're outwardly doing stuff. How you become a leader is by doing the inner work, is by actually doing the freaking work. That is how you lead. It's like a ripple effect. And the last one, break the chain. Oh my God, guys, these cards are like, they're all the same. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. I mean, how many cards have we got here that speak to this? Transformation and healing and breaking patterns, breaking the chain. I'm just writing that down. That might be the title of this video, Breaking Patterns. I mean, I don't think I need to get any tarot out for this, but let's just see what comes out. Patterns, breaking patterns. Give us some more information on what these patterns may be. Whatever it is, it's something that's been, I'm hearing the word coagulating, which is fascinating. Coagulating, because that's something that's being set, right? I think. Changing form. Is that what coagulation is? Going from soft to hard? I'll have to look that up. It's a lot of shift happening. Not outwardly though. This is internal. Okay, sure. We've got 2 of Cups on the side. This is almost, this feels like not a limbo, but it feels like a void or even uncertainty, which interestingly enough is the theme of the whole year for 2026. But this is coming into some type of agreement, but not knowing which way to go. And the only agreement you need to make is with, let's call it God itself, grace, presence, awareness, source, universe, however you phrase that. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Making sure you're taking care of yourself. Focusing within, resting, recharging, reconfiguring, but without the configuring, if that makes sense. There's a take care of yourself first. It's like that plane, when you get on the plane and they say, before you give others. So this speaks a lot to this priestess energy of before, because that's kind of what the Queen of Pentacles reminds me of, but because she's showing up in the shadow, it's like before you put on someone else's mask, put yours on first. You know, when you get on the plane. So tend to yourself, tend within. The only thing you can control is how you respond to things, how you react to things. The Hierophant. Knowledge. Like wisdom being passed down, but there needs to be that inner attentiveness, that self-attention that I was talking about in the last video. I've got 6 of Swords at the bottom. And it's interesting that there's like literally rain clouds in this picture, and there's rain clouds out here, and it's pissing down with rain. So staying focused. Packing up and leaving. Walking away from that which does not serve you in this period of time right now, whatever that is. It's a momentary thing. Like some might be going through this moment to moment patterns. I think that's pretty much quite self-explanatory, but let's get just some cards to finish off. Let me know if this is making any sense to you guys, but yeah, big time something needs to be stopped. With the 6 of Swords, with the round and round, with the never-ending story. Maybe if this is not outwardly, this is an inner mental pattern, a mental story you keep telling yourself, and how we figure that out is by being in stillness. Okay, Gemini, curiosity. Yeah, let's get curious about what's going on within. Taurus, savor. That's being in the moment. Gemini is a card or a sign of networking, of communicating, of socializing. But in this card, there's just one other person, and I feel like this is connection with oneself, not with other. Full moon. That might be relevant for someone. Full moon, which I think is this month actually. That'll be a bit interesting. And I feel like it's a full moon in Aquarius. I could be so wrong, so don't. Trust the process, trust yourself, trust that everything is trust that the storminess, that this dis-ease, this discomfort is to help you release whatever needs to be released for good. Let's get one more. New life. And that doesn't necessarily mean outwardly this brand new life and things look so different. This could mean within. And I know people may not get what I say what I mean when I say that, but this is about figuring out who you are. It's about coming into a space where you know yourself so well, or you know exactly who you are, that the outwardly little ripples and disturbances don't actually disturb you and your peace, if that makes sense. So that's what the new life could mean. Maybe for others it does look completely different. As I said, we're stepping over this threshold, going through this new period of integration. I'm hearing assimilation. Did I say that at the start? Like I said assimilation, didn't I? So maybe that is the case, that you're just gathering up these pieces of the puzzle and trying to figure out who you are. But trust that this process is happening for you, not to you. Okay, my friends, I think that is it. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. If it made sense to you or if you resonated, do feel free to leave a comment. And I will put those songs in the comments for you as well. But take care of yourselves. Make sure you ground your energy. Stay hydrated and take care of yourselves this month. Give yourself the space, give yourself time to process. 2025 was a hell of a year, and there's going to be some interesting things showing up in 2026, I have no doubt. Okay, until the next video, take care and bye for now.